Most preschoolers love to be very active and to get into things and explore, so sometimes it can be difficult as parents to try to entertain them and gear all that energy in the right direction. You mentioned you have twins, and I've only had one child at a time, and that's difficult enough, so I can't imagine twins, and my heart really goes out to you. You said you feel like you're going nuts and insane as a fellow mom. Really, my heart goes out to you. But I do want to share some information with you about what's normal for a child and what's not. And based on these guidelines, you can decide if you feel like it would be good to talk to the doctor about what's going on, or if you just feel like a little bit of behavior modification at home might do the trick. There's some questions that the American Academy of Pediatrics brings up that you can ask yourself to kind of gauge if your child's behavior is normal or not. They ask, is your child's activity level unusual for kids of the same age? And you mentioned that your older twins didn't act this way. Because there's two of them, they probably, get each other hyper, and that could be contributing to it. Who knows? Is your child highly active in all settings like home, school, the store, and not just in places at church where they're supposed to be quiet? Is your child highly active all or most of the time, or is it mostly on days when they can't go outside and run and play? If your children are very active, then it's good to obviously avoid situations where they have to be calm or remain still for a long period of time. But there are times where that can't be avoided, and those will be a little more difficult to cope with. But it sounds like you've described situations that are happening at home when it's okay for them to run around and play, but they're still having a hard time, grasping things and paying attention. So here's a few more norms that I want to read to you. Behavior that's within normal range. Difficulty attending except briefly to a storybook or drawing or something like that. Behavior signaling and an attention problem. Sometimes unable to complete games or activities without being distracted. Is unable to complete a game with a child of comparable age, and only attends to any activity for a very short period of time before shifting to another activity. Symptoms are present to the degree that they cause some family difficulties. And it sounds like you've kind of been experiencing that a little bit. Behavior signaling the possible presence of ADHD, predominantly the inattentive type. The child is unable to function and play appropriately and may seem immature, does not engage in any activity long enough, is easily distracted and unable to complete activities, has a much shorter attention span than other children of the same age, often misses important aspects of an object or situation like rules or sequences when playing games, and does not persist in various self-care tasks like dressing or washing to the same extent of other kids of the same age. And the child shows problems in many settings over a long period of time and is affected functionally. Now, the diagnosis of an actual issue is usually made a little bit later in life because preschoolers, you mentioned your twins are even two, they're not, the expectations for behavior is not as high as it is as they get older. And so as more is expected of children, people start to realize that there might be more of a problem. So I think the best thing for you to do would be to talk to your children's pediatrician and share your concerns with them and see what they think about it. They know your children's health history. They can ask you more specific questions and even examine your child or ask your children and ask them a few questions to see what they think about things. And as far as your sanity goes, it might be good for you to get some help too. There are resources available for parents who have children who are hyperactive and a little bit harder to cope with. It would be good to bring in family and friends and other support systems that you have to maybe give you a break and allow you some alone time so that you can re-energize. And we definitely have a battery that can be drained, and so it's good to plug in every once in a while to ourselves so that we can be the best mom that we can be. If you feel the need to talk to a doctor because of the feelings you're having, then please do so. If there's anything else I can do for you, if you have any other questions for me, feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms, and tell your friends and family about us too.